Welcome back to DeFi Supply. Today, I'm going to be capping off our three-part series on how to get free Luna. Now, this one is going to be the most advanced one of the three-part series. It's going to be the one that requires the most amount of effort and upkeep. Even though I would still classify this as passive income strategies, it will still require some time to do upkeep on these. And the reason why I put kind of the word or the term Gigabrain in the title, because these really are going to be somewhat more complex than most of the strategies out there on the Terra ecosystem. So as I said, as we kind of move down this chart that I've described in the past two videos, it's going to be more time consuming now that we're in the advanced strategies. If you want to check out my other videos on the beginner and intermediate strategies, I'm going to link them down in the description below. So with that, let's get started on the first advanced strategy that I have for you. So the first one is being a liquidity provider on Osmosis. Now, this might not seem like it's that advanced, but I've put this in the advanced category because it is involving cross-chain liquidity. So you are going to have to do a few extra steps to deposit this into a liquidity pool, since most of you are going to be starting from a Terra Station wallet. So the idea with this is you're basically going to take your Luna and you're going to take some UST in an equivalent amount or an equivalent value, and you're going to be providing that onto Osmosis in the Luna UST pool. And this is going to yield you roughly 16 to 31% APR, because you're basically providing a service to Osmosis, and they are rewarding you with the swap fees that people use whenever they make a trade on the pair that you're supplying. And you're going to be receiving rewards that you can then swap for Luna, and you can then re-put that into Osmosis and basically just compound these rewards. Now, if you choose the 31% APR, it is going to take up to 14 days to unstake from Osmosis. But if you want to go with the 16% APR, then that'll only take 1 day. I always recommend doing the 14 days to maximize the yield, since 14 days, but it depends on your preference. So to execute this strategy, you want to go to app.osmosis.zone. And you're going to first go to the assets page, and you're going to be depositing UST, and you're going to be depositing Luna by clicking on this IBC deposit button. And when you click this deposit button, it's going to ask you to select your Terra Station wallet, and you're going to then also connect your Kepler wallet, and it's going to then take your Luna and deposit it on the IBC blockchain or the Osmosis blockchain. Okay. And then from there, you're going to do the same thing with UST, and you're going to go back to pools. You're going to scroll down to the Luna pool, pool 562, and you're going to be supplying it here. And you're going to want to select the 14-day to get that 31% APR. And you can add and remove liquidity here. And you can also swap tokens here if you want to just bring over Luna on the bridge. The second strategy that I have for you is to be an arbitrage trader. Now, one of the most popular arbitrage trades in the Terra ecosystem is between the bLUNA-LUNA pair on Astroport. So basically, what you can do is you can take your native Luna, go to Astroport, swap it for bLUNA, which most of the time is going to be worth less than Luna, even though really it should be, or it should have one-to-one parity, because with bLUNA, it's basically just a token saying that you have Luna locked behind the Anchor protocol, and it's going to take about 21 to 24 days to unstake. But The reason why the value is typically slightly less than the actual Luna value is because people don't wait the 21 days, so they just sell their bLUNA, and that naturally just drives down the bLUNA price. But when Luna is in really high demand, then it gets closer to that 1-to-1 parity. So you might not be able to do it actually 17 times per year, but it has worked out pretty well for me so far. Just in the past few weeks, I haven't been able to do it, but keep an eye out for this. It will open up, and you will be able to get probably roughly 1 to 3% per trade or per cycle that you do this for. So I described the first step, which is just to swap into bLUNA. And then with that bLUNA, you're going to be going to Anchor, and you're going to be then just going through that 21-day unstaking process by burning the bLUNA and waiting for the equivalent Luna to unlock, which will be a 1-to-1 trade. So you'll get that Luna out, and you'll have 2% more Luna than you started with, and you can just repeat that process over and over again throughout the year. And if you're able to do it every single time, 17 times per year, which is roughly every 3 weeks, you'll get roughly 34% APR using this strategy. So to execute this strategy, you want to go to Astroport.fi, and you're basically going to select Luna and bLUNA here. And right now, it actually has parity, so it's 1-to-1, so I would not execute this trade at this point, but in the past, you can see that there is typically a 2% discrepancy. So you can see from this chart here that the relationship between bLUNA and Luna fluctuates quite a bit, but you will see that sometimes it gets down to 0.97 or 0.98 or even 0.99. Very rarely will it actually go above 1 because that's an instantaneous arbitrage trade that you can make. We're mainly focused on the one where you can make like 2-3%. So recently, with the Luna demand that we've been seeing, the parity has been restored, but in due time, we will see this discrepancy appear again. So once you've acquired your bLUNA, you want to go to Anchor Protocol /bAsset/bLUNA, and you're going to be selecting the Burn tab. So just to review, I'm going to the bAsset tab, and I'm scrolling down. I'm clicking this Mint and Burn button, clicking Burn, and I would then take my bLUNA and burn it for Luna, and I would get roughly 1 Luna for the 1 bLUNA that I am burning. Now this will take 21 days or up to 24 days since they do it in 3-day batches, and then it will basically unlock on the same exact page where you can then claim that Luna, and you can then go back to Astroport, do the same thing, buy more bLUNA, go back to Anchor, and do the same thing over and over and over again throughout the year. The third strategy that I have for you is actually a group of strategies, but I'm going to mainly be focusing on one for this video, and that is basically encompassing delta neutral strategies. Now, before, you could do a delta neutral strategy with Mirror, the manual way, which ended up looking like this, where you would start with UST and you would basically buy an M asset, or basically just a synthetic asset on Mirror, and you would long it and short it, basically making the trade a zero-sum game where, no matter which price or which way the price ends up going, the total value of your position is going to stay the same. Since you're staying the same, why would you want to do that? Well, it's because with Mirror, they are incentivizing you to have those positions. So while you are basically not making money from opening both those positions, you are still able to earn the rewards given out by Mirror. And that ended up yielding like 30 to 50%, and really 50 to 60% back in the day, 6-8 months ago. But this is still a valid strategy. It's going to yield you roughly 30 to 40% APY, just depending on which asset you end up going with. But the cool thing is, Aperture Finance is a brand new protocol where they've now taken this and automated it to basically this. All you do is you just take your UST, you go to Aperture, you deposit it in one of their pools, and then they reward you in whatever the yield you get for staking or for basically investing in that pool. And then you can take those rewards and swap it back to Luna, or just reinvest it back into the Aperture pool that you have been investing in. So this is Aperture Finance. Basically, you would go here and you would select a pool that you want to participate in. So you'll see it's roughly in 30 to 40% range. And for example, if you choose to invest in the delta neutral Apple pool, basically you're longing Apple and shorting Apple and just collecting the farming rewards that you get for doing so on Mirror Protocol. And you would just claim your rewards from here, and you would withdraw from here. So they make this process super simple, super easy, even though you are doing an advanced strategy on the back end. Now, there is additional risk with this though, because you are relying not only on Mirror to work, but also Aperture Finance. So definitely keep that in mind. Don't dump all of your UST into this strategy. I would still reserve most of that for safer strategies like Anchor, but this is definitely something worth trying just with a small portion of your UST. So again, with those rewards, you can swap it for more Luna, just like you basically ended up getting free Luna out of this strategy. So the fourth strategy that I have for you guys is leveraged liquidator strategy. So basically with this one, it is going to be a little bit more risky, but it's for those that have high conviction of Luna and just want more Luna. So you're basically just leveraging your Luna position, but in a slightly safer way since you're looping your deposits. So the way it works is you start with bLUNA. So you can get that from Astroport. Put that into Anchor Borrow UST off of your bLUNA, take that UST, put it into Anchor Earn, so you're earning roughly 20% on that UST, and then take that AUST and go over to Kujira, which is a liquidation protocol that automatically liquidates those that are delinquent on Anchor Protocol and basically executes whatever premium you set on there to basically acquire more bLUNA. So when you liquidate other people, you get a premium and you'll actually get bLUNA out of that. So you're basically now you have bLUNA. You used to have AUST. So you then take that bLUNA and you can either sell it and just profit the difference that you made with Kujira, or if you're a little bit more bullish like me, I usually put it from bLUNA back into Anchor Borrow so that I can borrow more UST and get more AUST so that I can then put it back into Kujira and do the same thing over and over again and loop it a couple times. So I am going to be leveraging my Luna position here, but it's going to be slightly less risky with this strategy. And I am basically buying the dips because really people are only being liquidated when Luna is dipping. So it's a really good DCA strategy as well. So to execute this strategy, you would go to the borrow page on Anchor. You would provide your bLUNA, and then you would borrow UST from that bLUNA. Then you would go to the Earn tab on Anchor and deposit that UST for roughly 20% APY. And you're going to be receiving AUST tokens as a receipt. And you can take those AUST tokens to Kujira at this link here. And if you go to the bLUNA section, you can see all the different bids and premiums people are willing to liquidate people at. And the cool thing is now you can actually bid with AUST rather than just UST. So you're earning yield on your bid while it's unexecuted. And when it is executed, obviously you're going to be receiving bLUNA, and you can then just take that and loop it and continuously just do this strategy over and over again. So the way it works is you come here and you select this discount that you would want when you choose to liquidate people. So when someone is delinquent, they're going to be liquidated by basically the person who has the lowest premium that they want on the Luna. So these people are going to be liquidating people first, while these people are going to be liquidating people on Anchor when these people are done and have gotten their Luna. So I would recommend being at the 5, 6, 7% range, because getting a 1% premium on Luna really just buys Luna when it just dips ever so slightly. So I would definitely avoid this range here. So you can select it here. So for example, let's just say I want a 5% premium on my Luna. Then you can bid an AUST amount. Just say, oh, I don't have any AUST in this wallet, but you can enter in the AUST here and then just agree to this withdrawal fee, which is 0.5%, and then just place your bid. And it will execute automatically whenever there are people that need to be liquidated and your premium group has been reached. Then once you've liquidated people, your bLUNA is going to show up right here, and you're going to withdraw here and pay the 0.5% fee. And then you're going to go back to Anchor, provide it again, borrow more UST, put it back into Earn, and then take the AUST that you get from Earn and put it back into Orca at 6-7% premium. So just to review, I've talked about a advanced liquidity provider strategy with Osmosis, arbitrage strategies with bLUNA-LUNA. And with the arbitrage strategies, you can actually do it with many other pairs, such as ST-LUNA. You can also do it on Prism protocol, where you can arbitrage trade C-LUNA between Luna. And additionally, I've talked about delta neutral strategies with Mirror, but there are actually a couple other ones on Terra. So you can just look out for any sort of trade or any sort of double-sided trade where you can just cancel out your overall position, but still just collect the farming rewards. And then the fourth one that I've talked about is my personal favorite, which is the leveraged liquidator strategy, where you're basically just depositing in Anchor and borrowing UST and basically taking that UST and getting AUST and then taking that AUST and using Kujira to just bid on cheap Luna. Now, a mentality for advanced strategies is to always remember that there's protocol risk when you stack protocols in one strategy. So, for example, the Kujira strategy is very difficult because, or not very difficult, but it can be very risky because you're relying on Kujira and Anchor to execute all of your trades. So just remember, if you're stacking like 3, 4, 5 protocols on this one strategy, definitely be very cautious when it ends up being like that. And then the other very important thing is keep in mind that a lot of these strategies give you high yield because they're paying you in their token. So if you hold on to that token, just make sure that you realize that there is probably very high inflation on that token, and that introduces a lot of risk. And then the final one is to, of course, never put all of your Luna in one strategy. Make sure to spread them out across multiple strategies in order to safeguard any major issues with one strategy. And that's it. That's all that I had for you for Luna strategies. This caps off my 3-part series on this topic. If you want to follow me for more, you can follow me at DeFi Supply on Twitter and DeFi Supply on YouTube. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.